planning administrator, zoning administrator. He might be there in the keynote gallery.
So this mute is on.
I don't know.
I think it was gonna
Yeah.
happen the first time I
Yeah.
went there. No, no matter what.
Right.
Because we just. Well, hi, Linda.
You're it. All right, the clock say 5:30, so I'm going to call this meeting to order. This is the meeting of the City of Harbor Springs Planning Commission, Thursday, March 21st, 2024. It's 5:30 local time. Jeff, would you call roll for us?
Absolutely. Rick Tarczynski.
Here.
Bob Fulma.
Here.
Tony Johnson.
Here.
Bill Mulder.
Here.
Mark Boudet.
Here.
Barry Leskard.
Here.
Nancy Rondell.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Good. All right, thank you, Jeff. And for folks on Zoom and in the room here, do we have any public comments for the Planning Commission about things that are not on the agenda tonight?
We need to get the agenda.
Yes.
Linda Rockwitz, 519 East Third Street. I am so sorry you have all had to put up with the abuse that you have. And want to tell you that I think you've done a great job and I appreciate it. And I know there are lots of us out there who appreciate all the hours you put in. And after teaching for 25 years, I know what it's like to be on the report card committee, that you spend hours figuring out the new report card and then you show it to your colleagues and they say, I don't like that, you know. So I hope that we can keep it civil, and that we've got to push back a little on that in a very civil way. You know, we just can't say thank you at the end of an abusive comment. At least that's my opinion. And if I'm here, I will voice that. And now I'm going home to make dinner. Are you people all on one of those fasts that you don't eat after 4:30? And I'll watch the rest on Zoom, so don't do anything for 5 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see, are there any other comments? Any, we're having public comments about things not on the agenda, which is just about everything and anything, because there's not much on the agenda. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to the people on Zoom as well. All right, great. Let's get into the agenda then. The only thing on the agenda is the review and approval of 3 sets of minutes. Right?
Yep.
And, the first set of minutes is for our meeting on February 15th, 2024. Have people had a chance to review that?
Yes. Nancy did point out that there were a couple of spelling errors with some people's names.
Yeah.
And I did go through and make corrections to those. So when we put them on the website, they will be updated and accurate.
Great. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you, Jeff. Do we have a motion to approve February
Well,
15th?
I would like to just make a general comment pretty much on all of these, on all 3 sets. I would suggest that it be emphasized that after we had public comment, we listed down what people had said, and we went through, you went through, Bill, And we talked about each of those concepts specifically. We gave direct responses back to the comments that were made.
And the way it reads now would make you think that
Well, right now,
people
it
ask
does,
questions and then,
yeah, because right now it doesn't really state it that clearly, in my opinion, that we were responsive to the questions and concerns that people had. I know most of us spoke in one way or another during the first two long sessions. And I don't think that's accurately reflected here.
all right,
I think you did a great job on getting most of the comments, but we did respond back, because I made a list, you made a list. We referenced that list in the next meeting as well, that, that these things had been addressed, to the public.
We almost had an open dialogue discussing it with back and
Yes.
forth, which.
Yeah, after they raised their concerns, and then after we closed the public hearing, there was absolutely, and I know it's, this is recorded, so I know that you go back, you find that, but I think it should be referenced in here, that there was we were responsive to the questions. Because that's what we've been accused of not doing, and that's absolutely not true.
So I think we should say responsive to, or gave direct answers to many of the concerns and responded to all concerns or something.
we probably missed some.
There were a few who
Yeah,
didn't
no,
answer, but
Absolutely, some things we couldn't, we
but-
didn't, we
well,
didn't
we
know what to
could.
say.
I think we took the ones that
we took the ones that
came
we,
over and over.
yeah, the ones that were the more common ones.
So is that fair to
Yeah.
add in
Yeah.
a basic sentence like that?
Yeah, people generally
I
agree
think
with that.
that,
Yes, please.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Jeff, I guess on each of those, just, a
We
short
can certainly, I can come up with a line to add in there that addresses that you guys responded to.
And I would suggest also that you say as supported by the audio recording, because all was recorded.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it's safe to reference that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes it's difficult because, obviously we had 3-hour meetings on a couple of those.
Yeah.
And it's certainly difficult, at least for me, I'm probably not the best minute taker, but when it starts to get to that back and forth discussion, to try and summarize that into a short thing is sometimes difficult, but I think we can come up with something to add in
Yeah,
there
I
that's
just think,
certainly
I think it's
appropriate and
important
simple.
because we have been accused so many times of not being responsive, but it's absolutely not true.
Yes.
And it's very frustrating to have people in the audience saying that it's not true.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's-
if Jeff were to add in a sentence or a paragraph on each of the sets of, well, we're talking about February 15th at this point. So
Yes.
do we have a motion to accept those minutes with that change?
I would make that motion.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All right, we don't need a roll call.
Was that Thoma on the second? Yep. You can do it all.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right, February 15th minutes are approved. Next minutes we have to look at are February 22nd. And this was a special meeting and it's all about the closed zone as well. Get a chance to take a look at that? Any corrections or?
Same thing, there's just nothing here that really addresses our responses to the questions that people were asking all night long.
Okay,
And we did address almost every one in some fashion or another, unless they were, the ridiculous ones.
all right, do we have a motion with that amendment?
I'll make that motion.
There's a
Second.
motion by Nancy. Do we have a second?
Second
already here by Barry.
Very second.
Second.
Oh, Barry, you seconded, good, all right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. All right, meeting minutes of February 22nd, 2024 are approved. All right, the last set of minutes were from Thursday, March 7th. It was another special meeting. And any comments on those minutes?
I do have one comment I'd like to make. Where are we at page 4? There's a B discussion on ordinance 439. Fourth last paragraph starts off with Rick responding to Johnson's comments. I'd like that to be clear to be Robin Johnson, not mine.
I
One
saw
of my
that,
comments.
I saw that too. Yeah, I saw that too.
We can certainly add in that, to clarify.
That's a good point.
Okay. And then Would people like that same sentence that we've been talking about for the last 2 minutes about,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I think that's a good idea.
All right, with those two changes, do we have a motion to accept the minutes? From March 7th.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Tony. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Rick. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say nay. Okay. Those are approved. And, we'll move on to the next thing on the agenda, which is, new and old business and member comments.
No new business, and I haven't received any applications for our next meeting. So theoretically, we probably won't have anything new for that.
So let's keep that on the calendar though.
That's the 8th,
But there's a
18.
right?
18th, there's a chance it could get canceled if there's no business.
What we can do, and I'll talk to John Icoangeli about this, is one of the things that we pulled out of the zoning code that's not it's in the old, not in the new, is all of our signage regulations. We can maybe prepare a memo of some of the things that we need to highlight and start talking about. Maybe we could have a brief discussion about signage. I think a lot of the signage stuff is gonna be John and I working together, coming up with what we need to do to comply with the new way that things have to be done. But certainly we'll need to get some
That would
input
be
from
a
you.
recommendation ultimately to us.
Yeah, absolutely. We would be bringing it back for, there's just, there's a lot of things that we have to do to comply with kind of the new methodology on how signage is done regarding some new court cases. And it's just updating our existing language to comply with that. But I think there will certainly be some questions that we have for you and any adjustments and things, special circumstances we need to handle in town. So if we don't have anything else to put on, I think we can at least start that discussion for us to start working on that to bring back some ideas for you.
Great.
Also, I wanted to thank the folks that were at the council meeting. I don't need to go into details about it, but I appreciated some on-site support, some on-site support from folks who had been working on it. I think that was really a really important thing to do. Also at the next council meeting, I'm already getting letters from folks. So I am hoping that we will get some constructive feedback from some people with some specifics, which is what Matt requested that night. So that might be something at the April 18th meeting, because our meeting's not till May 6th. So, you know, I think you all need to be aware of all that also, and because I think people will come to you to get some answers. I've already been approached by 2 different folks in town that are longtime grew up residents here. It's very interesting because a lot of, they really don't have much idea at all about what's going on, not at all.
Oh.
I've also heard how they are extremely hesitant to speak up because they've been shut down for so many years. That's a quote from a very long time resident. One of the reasons they don't want to come to the meeting.
That's exactly.
You know, so I just think maybe we could visit some of the things we're hearing, because I'm sure I hope I will hear a lot before then.
Yeah, I would hope that we'd be able to, that there could be some type of more of a grassroots movement where just average people can understand how they benefit from this. Because I don't think that has gotten out. I don't think those dots have been connected.
One of the letters I got, and I don't remember which one it was like, tell us how it's gonna be better for us. We wanna know what it means, how it's gonna benefit us. I think it's very difficult for people to look at the big community good. I think that's, as you heard Monday night, is not where the focus is. So that they they don't understand. I mean, I had somebody ask me today about, how does this lot split work? And I don't mind smaller houses, but I don't want houses on wheels who have a lot of stuff in the yard because they can't have accessory buildings. And I wasn't quite sure where to start. This was in the hospital waiting room. I wasn't quite sure where to start, but there's still a huge amount of misunderstanding.
There's a lot of false information.
A lot of false information, and they haven't been paying any attention. I spoke to someone who had no idea it was going on whatsoever.
Somebody told them what was going on and
Yeah.
therefore it must
Yeah.
be true.
And I think that's what we have, in the next 6 weeks, what we
Right.
definitely need to be aware of and speak
I
to.
think it's very true.
And your help is appreciated, obviously, because there's, people.
So my comment is that, at the last meeting, the city council meeting, this is what I wish I had said. Because it just sort of, after 2.5 hours of that abuse, my brain was sort of a little bit muddied up. So what I would like to ask of our commission is that we adopt this as a resolution of support.
This year.
And so I will read this. The intent of this resolution is to express the planning commission support support of and gratitude to the city of Harbor Springs staff and planning consultant in the zoning ordinance revision process. Victor has been a critical resource in assisting the planning commission with the legal and practical aspects of all things zoning. His experience and knowledge were invaluable in assisting the subcommittee and commission to a maze of procedural requirements and state law. Victor is a true professional and at no time attempted to direct the course of ideas or decisions during the zoning ordinance revision process. Jeff's long history of administering Harbor Springs zoning ordinance informed our work tremendously, supplying relevant real-life data sourced from his many years' work with the community. His insights were often a reality check that positively affected the direction of discussions. Jeff, like Victor, has been a solid professional and an invaluable asset during this process. John epitomizes the modern planning and zoning professional. Since John has been on board, the Planning Commission has become more effective, efficient, and responsive to the demands of administrating the zoning ordinance. John is always prepared and ready to provide insightful and time-tested views on planning and zoning issues, but he did not unduly direct the outcome of the process. As the Planning Commission of Harbor Springs, we resolved that Victor, Jeff, and John have been exemplary professionals throughout the zoning ordinance revision process. Their expertise was invaluable to the commission. I'm happy for it to be amended or have discussions about it, but this is what I really felt after that meeting. I felt a lot of wrongs had been said, a lot of mud had been thrown against the wall. But I really feel that our staff and our consultant are extremely valuable and they were pilloried. And nobody stood up for them, and I'm a little bit ashamed about that because I didn't do it in that meeting and I should have. So I was going to write a letter to the paper, but I thought, well, wait a minute, maybe this is a better way to do it, to put some weight behind it and make it very clear to the public that what's being said out here in these meetings is not true. And draw a line in the sand, essentially.
Here. I support it. I just, not to argue with you, but I was clear in my closing comments when I spoke on Monday that I felt the personal attacks were appalling.
Exactly.
And
You did say that.
and not respectful of the people that we aim to be in the city.
Yeah.
Is this something, I can't read it, sorry, is this something that, we should let John and Victor and Jeff look at before that would just be my initial feeling. I agree with you 100%. I agree with you. But is that something that we want to, or do we just want to say, this is, I'm okay with it.
I think this,
What are you thinking, an ad in the paper or?
no, not at all. I'm just, I was gonna write my own personal thing to the paper. And I thought, wait a minute, this is,
Coming from the.
I think something more important, does not have to go in the paper. I don't care what happens after this point. I just want something on record that we as the commission have full confidence and faith in the city staff and their consultants. Because by what's being said in public, people just say, oh, we're getting a bunch of bad information, people have these hidden agendas, and we're just being manipulated, which is absolutely not true. And that's why I would like to ask you all to approve this as a resolution from the Planning Commission. Because then there's no doubt about it. We're on record, here's the paper, and it was approved.
Yeah.
That's my point. Doesn't have to go on paper, I don't care about that. I just think this is important to have on record, on file, because of craziness that can happen.
And I feel pretty good about that because it's not like we can have this banter back and forth during our meetings, the way they're set up, so. For us to be able to state this.
Are you making a motion?
Yes, I am.
I'll second it.
All right. I have a motion to adopt this resolution and a second. Any more discussion or ideas?
Yeah, I'd just like
I
to,
think your name should be on it.
Well, all our names, I guess, are gonna be on it.
I mean, on this.
Well, this is dealing with
What's
just
your ask?
staff.
Yeah, it's focused at city staff. Yeah.
The same.
Yeah, Tony, what were you?
I'd just like to add, I think Mark said that, you know, should we run this past some people first? Like, if this expresses our opinions,
Okay.
I'm fine with,
Yeah.
that's the way
Yeah,
I'd
I
like to
think
proceed with it.
this is our commission. We all work hard. We've all been through the ringer. But I do think though, and you did make a statement. And I wish I'd followed up on it, but I failed. So, it's just like,
It's tough. in
yeah,
those
I
meetings.
just
Nobody
wasn't
should
on, I just wasn't on that night,
Yeah.
but I want to correct that error by doing this. I think this is something that is significant. and important.
You've got some guys here that are trying to sail this boat through a shitstorm.
Yeah.
And
No,
they're,
it's-
and they're trying to get away with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is good to say.
So we have a motion and a second on the table to adopt this as a resolution. Care to vote on it? All right, why don't we do a roll call vote on this one?
We can. Nancy Rondell,
Yes.
Barry Lustgarten.
Yes.
Mark Bidet,
Yes.
Bill Mulder,
Yes?
Tony Johnson,
Yes.
Bob Philip,
Yes.
and Rick Tarczynski.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for writing it up. Jim, does
Oh,
your
thank
name, does your name have two M's?
My name does have
Thank
two
you.
M's. That's okay. I'm gonna put it against it.
Please correct it before it goes.
Okay, any other business tonight, Tony?
Yeah, one thing I heard during several of our recent meetings, or at least one, was to do with the availability of minutes and even possibly recordings. I just wanted Jeff to give us an update on the status there to make sure that everything was available.
Yep, so because we've been having so many meetings, I think we had 3 meetings in February, I believe.
Yep.
Past practice was that we would wait until the next regularly scheduled meeting. And then we would approve all the meetings since the last one. So one thing that I think we are gonna change moving forward, because generally we don't post the meetings or the minutes on the website until after they're approved.
Of course, you would.
So I think we are gonna change our practice if you guys are comfortable with that we will, even at special meetings, we will approve whatever minutes we have from a previous meeting. That way we can get them uploaded to the city website more expeditiously.
Okay.
And then recordings, I think the recordings are all there and as soon as the meeting is done, the YouTube video, I believe, is saved. I'm not exactly positive on the process there. But I believe it's available virtually right away. I know we did have some issues for a little bit with the video going in and out with the quality and the sound and to some extent. We've switched over to hardwiring the computer as opposed to using Wi-Fi. That seems to have made a significant difference.
Yep.
So the recording should be a little bit better. The only other thing I would add is I believe Victor's looking into the cost of upgrading our Zoom account. Right now, we are limited to 100 people. We've only ever hit that the one time.
Mhm.
The next step is it's a minimal fee, I believe.
Yeah.
And the next step would take us up to 300 people. So Victor's looking into that, and I think that that's on our plan to do. But I don't want to speak for him.
Okay,
Tony, does that cover it?
that's it. Great. Thank you.
Any other business that we'd like to discuss?
This is just a thought. I did talk to Victor about a different podium. Those of you who were at the meeting, that one was too bulky. Yeah, it just blocked us from seeing out and people and it's hard to hear when the room's full. He did say we have a smaller one somewhere. And my suggestion would be at planning commission meetings, if it's a contentious issue with lots of people, we kind of adopt that same principle to ask people to come forward to speak. I just think it's much cleaner
There
than
we go.
having them speaking.
Much better.
Yeah.
We have this instead. The other
Yeah.
option would be we have, this portable, we can just take this
Yeah.
off and just.
I think
use
that
this.
would be fine, just so somebody can set a piece of paper down if they want to read. And I know Victor, I believe, has ordered microphones also. I know there's some things in the works
Good.
to make it easier for people to hear. We're not trying to not hear people. But I really personally don't think it's wise when people can sit in the very back corner and yell at the councils. I think they need to come forward to speak.
hard of hearing, they shouldn't be sitting in the back.
Yeah. Yeah, they can move up to the front and they're supposed to be speaking to the council
And I think maybe along the same lines, if we had them all stand over
over
here.
here.
So if they're here
That's what I
speaking,
was thinking.
you know, if we set it up over in this area, and they're speaking like this, then people can hear the voice going this way as
Yeah.
well as this way. So this would be a much better position. It used to be over this way. I've talked over here on this side before.
Well, and if
I think
it-
sometimes when people are providing presentations for the planning commission, like site plan review, they'll stand there, then they can use a pointer to point at the screen.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would add, if there's a way that we can do this politely, is many of the times when we've had the comments from the audience that they're having trouble hearing us, I feel that a lot of that has come from other small conversations between people in the audience. And that we're then fighting against that volume to try and have people hear us. So maybe just reiterate.
No doubt, we could be louder too. I
Yeah,
know.
we do. People
Yeah.
do tend to drop their voices down up here. It is hard to hear. And it's hard to hear on the recording.
So let's remind ourselves.
Yeah, to speak up. But anyway, those are just thoughts to try and make it better for public and for the commissions. Because
Great, yeah.
there's a few more meetings out
We know
there.
we could definitely improve.
Yeah.
Well, good. All right, any other comments or business? All right, so this meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much. Let's keep it on the calendar for then April 18th. All right, same place, same time. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, hi, Linda. Yes. Are you there?
Wow. Hey, Mark, I think you should send that letter to the paper. That's excellent. And it will let people know ahead of time. You guys are all on board. Just a thought.
Okay.
Our meeting's over.
Thanks,
So
Linda.
let's-
Yeah.
Thanks.
Take care.
Goodbye.
Bye.